Now it's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna say. I almost said it's kind of funny. It's not really. This may not be funny. Here it is, 8:13 p.m. Friday night, a few days ago. As I told you I was gonna do my videos way in advance. I'll do it like 2 a day or so, 2 for Sunday, 2 for Monday, that kind of thing, because I may not be able to do any because of this freaking storm. You know, little have we heard, an 8.1 or 8 point something earthquake strikes Mexico, causing some pretty severe damage, some deaths. And it just so happens to be right after, a few days after, a massive X-class flare has popped off the sun. In an incredible way, too. Coincidence? I think not. Now, Zero Hedge has an article. Huge solar flare sparks widespread blackouts. May deter Korean missile launch this weekend. The sun just released a massive solar flare. In fact, as SHTFplan.com's Max Slavo details, this is the largest solar flare emitted in the past decade, and the Earth has already been affected by blackouts. NASA has reported, well, let me back up before I start reading. The reason I was saying, you know, I do this video Friday night, and it's kind of ironic or funny because today's Monday. Wherever you are seeing this right now, understand I did this video Friday. And there may be hell on earth over where I'm living, depending on where this freaking storm goes. I have no idea. But as I said, I'm going to try to live stream that sucker as best as I possibly can. Unless it's like dangerous and stuff's cracking and, you know, breaking in my house. You know. Then again, I may have to live stream the hell out of that anyways, just for, you know, educational and scientific purposes. To show you the force of this thing. While we are well away from the coast, got trees all around the property, and we're still hitting damage, you know, getting damaged. I want to try to report on it. And I'm going to probably tell all my family, all of us, guys, none of us going upstairs. Nobody is going upstairs. We're staying downstairs. You know, this thing is like super massive powerful, and the top of the house starts to, you know, I don't want to be at the top. You know what I'm saying? But, and our living room it's just massive open space to the top of the roof. So it's like, I'm not concerned about it. And the one good thing, the guy was telling me that basically bought this house and started remodeling the whole thing, the company. He's like, when we got into the walls and the beams and the structures, man, the original guy who built this house, boy, did he do a, you know, great job with the kind of stuff he put inside here. You know, there's no issue with structural in this house. You know, he put heavy duty stuff. So I thought, oh, that's a relief, you know. Anyways, so yeah, it's Monday. I have no idea what it's going to be like. We may find that the damn storm just heads off out into the Gulf or something, or cuts across somewhere, and it's like, oh, it's just, you know, we got 50-mile-an-hour winds over here. No big deal. I'm out in my man cave, you know, my crypto cave, doing videos. Hey, everything's cool. But I do want to try to live stream some stuff for sure. So he's saying that this is the largest solar flare emitted in the past decade, and the Earth has already been affected by blackouts. And an 8.1 or so earthquake in Mexico that just happened. NASA has reported a huge solar flare was emitted by the sun, and it is the most powerful one since 2006. The solar flare has already caused some radio blackouts on Earth, and it may cause aurora visible as far south as London. On the morning of September 6th, scientists watched as two X flares were unleashed by the sun. Why two and not one? Because one is the loneliest number that you'll ever see. But it probably would have been a little bit better for us on Earth. The stronger flare was the second of the two emitted by the sun yesterday morning. Yesterday again being like Sunday, or Thursday last week. And it was seen by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, or SDO, at 5:10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun unleashed an X 2.2 flare, with X class denoting the most intense flares. M is below that, then X. Then at 8:02 a.m., a much bigger flare, measuring X 9.3, was unleashed. By comparison, the last time we saw a flare this big was in 2006, which measured 9.0. The number shows the intensity. with X2 being twice as intense as X1, X3, 3 times as intense, and so on. The loops of plasma emitted during these two flares were 10 times the size of planet Earth. Scientists got to watch the massive coronal mass ejection from these flares, which can be seen below in the GIF provided, which is from NASA, so I'll show that to you easily. You'll see it pop off. Boom. Look at that. It's like a big fart or a burp. Except that ain't no squeaker. That's a loud one. According to NASA, the flares were emitted from an active region of the sun known as AR2673. This region also emitted a mid-level flare on September 4th this year. But scientists say the timing of these big flares is rather odd, as the sun is currently heading towards the quieter period of its 11-year solar cycle known as solar minimum. This cycle began in 2008, with solar minimum expected in the next couple of years. And all I can think of, 9/23, September 23, it's in the movies, they've been showing it to us over and over again. What do they know that we don't know? We got this alignment, the birth of Jesus in the sky, the Mother Mary, Virgin Mary, the Virgo, the star system's going to birth the star Jupiter, 9/23, this year only. This is a phase when such eruptions on the sun are increasingly rare, but history has shown that they can nonetheless be intense, said NASA. And this one had some effects on life on Earth. It knocked out the high-frequency radio, according to the NOAA, and degraded low-frequency navigation, but the Space Weather Prediction Center said it was expecting some radio blackouts yesterday, and the high-frequency radio was expected to drop out for an hour. The particles from the CME, or coronal mass ejection, can also cause aurora activity further south than normal as they interact with Earth's magnetosphere. And there's a map that shows you approximately where you can see the lights, aurora. Not going to show it because I really don't care, because it ain't even kind of near any of us. Scientists aren't sure yet if the CME was directed towards Earth. If it does come our way, it could cause a strong geomagnetic storm that will further hamper communications. But there is a silver lining to this massive solar flare. As Bloomberg points out, North Korea could decide to delay its next ballistic missile launch because the current outbreak of severe geomagnetic storms can pose a risk to electronic equipment. As we detailed previously, South Korean Prime Minister Lee Nak-yeon said Thursday that the next launch could come Saturday, the anniversary of North Korea's founding. But while missiles are generally heavily shielded against radiation, Kim Jong-un may decide not to risk firing one during the solar flares in case they lose data or ancillary equipment, etc. This week's X9 solar flare, the largest in a decade, should serve as a reminder how close we really are to the edge. At the same time, a hurricane in the Atlantic called Irma strengthens to a Category 5 with winds nearing 185 miles per hour, spiraling towards Florida. Pablo, honey, please come to Florida. Perhaps the sun and Earth are more interconnected than we think, as junk science called global warming distracts the true understanding of how nature works. I totally agree with that. Which is why all of the planets in our solar system heated up during the same period of global warming that we recognize on Earth. How the hell did Jupiter? How did Jupiter go up massively in temperature the same time we had global warming? How about Uranus, Venus? All of them, they went up. Ain't no humans living over there now, are there? How about man-made global? Oh, wait a minute. We're on Earth, but all the other planets heated up too. Right. When I found that data, when I saw that, that was it for me. Al Gore, I hate you. You lied to me. I saw your Inconvenient Truth, an Inconvenient Truth movie in 2006. Barely just starting to wake up, thinking, oh, he could have been the best president. Freaking Bush, stole the election. And then I found out old Al Gore was lying. He stands to make, instead of saying a millionaire, he'll be a billionaire. If they can just roll out these carbon credit things, the carbon tax scheme. And he was behind it. Oh, now I see. And now I'm angry. And now I'm going to create a YouTube channel. And I'm going to start telling the world about this crap. Because I'm not going to sit here and take it lying down. And that is why I do these videos. Why I always have. Oh, you just want the advertising money. No. No, that wasn't even available, I think, till sometime in 2012 for everybody. And I finally signed on. Because I didn't sign on right off the bat either. I was like, oh, I'll just keep these little tiny square ads, you know, the contextual ads there, and that's fine. But then I got wise. Well, I might as well try it out. Oh my gosh, my revenue jumped up. Huh. And it's free, and I'm doing videos anyways. Can a guy get a bone thrown at him? Why not? And that's, you know, thus the video ads that you see every day in your face. I get a little piece of that action. 55% goes to me, 45% goes to YouTube. It's the way it is for everybody. So while I hate commercials, period, and I hate that I have to put them in front of you guys' faces, it is throwing me a bone, and I appreciate it greatly that I'm able to use this system. And you don't get too angry at me about it, so thank you so much. But anyways, what are the chances of all this stuff happening? Like, literally, right now. 9/23, solar flare, earthquake, 2 superstorms coming, you know, Harvey, and now we've got Irma. I can only hope that this thing doesn't go out into the Gulf, strengthen, and then do a right curve over off into Tampa. I was saying the other day, you know, MacDill Air Force Base there, that's the Middle East Operations Center. They don't want no storm coming in messing with that, right? I mean, unless they don't care, because I said, well, you know, it isn't, you know, it's pretty much underground for at least 2 or 3 miles. Everybody knows that. And it's probably sealed quite nicely. So whether it's stormy outside, it's rainy, it's flooding, doesn't really affect anything in MacDill. But you would think, what about planes that need to land there and that kind of thing? Yeah, I get it. But they don't need to land there for the Middle East stuff. No. So who knows what the hell's going on with this, you know, where it ends up going or whatever. I am an absolutely firm believer that these things can be steered. They can be made more powerful. They can be dispersed to some extent. I've seen the patents. I've been reading about them recently. So my question is, why are we allowing these things to hit land? Let's say they're all natural. Once you realize, okay, it's coming into some of our, you know, U.S. territories, and it's going to come to Florida, why aren't you pulling that sucker out to the Atlantic and letting it go up north where it gets a bit colder and just disperses out in the ocean? Why aren't we doing that? That's what I don't get. And I think the answer is they want catastrophe. More catastrophe, more government power. We can pass more legislation. We can get budgets passed. We can get more spending done. Yeah. Sorry about y'all's luck and sorry about the deaths, but, you know, we can get stuff done we normally couldn't get done. Like old Rahm Emanuel said, remember? We love when things like this happen, you know, not this, but back in the day when, you know, events happen that we weren't expecting because we can get things done we normally couldn't get done. We can get laws passed we normally couldn't get passed. You know, like the Patriot Act. But anyways, take care.